Hello and welcome to the Wheel of Time Rewind podcast. I am your host, Dylan Stoll, and I'm joined by my friend, Michael Whitford.
Hey!
So today we are going to jump in and do a favorite character draft using Season 1 Wheel of Time as our basis of where we're grabbing these characters from. So although Mike and I have both read and loved the books, we're going to be drafting our favorite versions of these characters from how they're portrayed on Season 1 of Wheel of Time from Amazon Prime.
And the goal is to make the most awesome team.
Yeah.
In our opinions.
Right. So we're going to be making teams that we think are just like the coolest characters in general. So what we'll do is we'll be posting this to our Instagram and our Twitter and seeing what you guys think. If you want to say whose team you like better, or which characters we might have left out, or if you felt like somebody was rated too highly. Any feedback, any and all feedback's welcome. Speaking of that...
Results will be shared on our next podcast.
Yeah, we can share the results on our next podcast. But speaking of that, if you want to get in contact with the show, you can email us at wheeloftimerewind@gmail.com. Or if you're on Instagram and Twitter, you can hit us up at WOTRewind. Like, share, comment, all that good stuff.
And speaking of that, Matt Scoot did get back to us and let us know that we did make a mistake. Hurin does show back up, the Sniffer shows back up in the later books with the Borderlanders. So he does come back into the series when last time we had mentioned how we didn't really think he appeared after book 2. So that was a little mistake there. But anyway, I'm ready to draft.
All right, so Mike, go ahead and hit that random generation and see who gets to go first.
We're going to randomly generate this list that just has Dylan and my name on there. I'm going to do it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Well, Dylan, all 3 times your name was first. So.
I like it. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to tell you what character we're taking, but we're also going to tell you why we're taking them. And again, this is going to be based off of their portrayal in Wheel of Time on Amazon Prime. So I was actually kind of hoping you would get to go first because I'm not 100% positive where I want to go with my very first overall pick here.
Oh, man. I can't wait to swamp you. Round 1, here we go.
All right,
You're on the clock.
I'm on the clock here. So, okay. This is wide open. I can take anybody I want. And so I, with my first pick here, am just going to take the person that I feel like needs to be taken. And that is Thom Merrilin. So I am going to say that Thom Merrilin is my favorite portrayal of a character in the series here. And part of that is just because of how much I love him from the books, but also I really did actually really like how he had more of a kind of modernish musical sense to him from the show here, where he was playing the guitar as opposed to playing the harp or the flute or other things like that. I just feel like the guitar kind of comes across a little bit better for just like modern sensibilities and everything. I really liked his portrayal, like the moments he had with Matt were really good, where he, had like that connection with Matt for wanting to try to get back to his family and doing whatever is necessary, and how everyone has moments of weakness where they're down and everything. And I just really like Thom Merrilin. I felt like he was really good. So yeah, he's my first pick. Who are you taking, Mike? Or what are your thoughts on that?
Interesting. So you snagged Alexandre Willem, and he was going to be. He's towards the end of my draft is kind of where I had him as pegged. I did really like his portrayal in the show, and I would agree with you that Thom is an amazing character. So I don't hate it. It just felt like it might have been a little bit of a reach.
Well, I mean, I wanted to make sure I got him, so maybe a reach.
It's all good.
Whatever.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I understand. So my first pick here is going to be Zoe Robbins as Nynaeve Almera.
Slam dunk pick.
And that was to be honest with you, this is a very surprising pick for me because in the books, I was not the biggest fan of Nynaeve, but her portrayal in the show has just been killer. And I think that's really what helped move her up my board so much, was that just how much like I grew invested in that character and like her development throughout the story, her banter with Lan and the other warders, the whole scene where she got dragged off by the Trolloc and fought, like, go girl. And then, obviously, if she's going Super Saiyan, I want that on my team. So, Nynaeve Almira, you're on Team Mike.
Yeah, so Zoe Robbins as Nynaeve was actually who I was debating, but I decided to take Tom because I just like Tom so much better. And like Mike said, I don't really like Nynaeve that much in the books. But you see some bias pouring over here already, even though I came out at the beginning and said it wasn't going to. I'm kind of going back on that already.
That's all good.
Anyways, I think I have to take Moraine for my next pick.
Oh.
So I am taking Rosamund Pike playing Moraine here. And part of that is just because I feel like Rosamund Pike does a fairly good job of bringing a lot of those qualities that Moraine had in the book to life on the screen here. I really like how she would be twisting her words around, and she gave us those examples of the Aes Sedai not truths, kind of like not full out lies, but the twisting of the words there, the abeyance of the three oaths, and I just really liked the way that she kind of came onto the screen and just commanded you to pay attention to what she was doing. So with that, I am going to take Rosamund Pike playing Moraine Damadrid as my second pick.
Nice.
Get the nice pairing of Tom and Moraine.
Yes, you got Tom and Moraine. Nice little pairing there. She actually, going to be honest with you, was, again, towards the end of my list. I had 5 more characters that I just was like, yes, over her. I don't think she did a bad job at all in her portrayal. Just there was a few other portrayals that I just enjoyed a little bit more. Speaking of which, Alvaro Morte as Logain Alblar is my second round pick here. Obviously, not much needs to be said here because he just killed it. Even though he was only in 2 episodes. Yeah, 2 episodes.
2 episodes, yeah.
He just did a fantastic job playing Logain, and I'm really excited to see him as we go throughout the series and what happens with his character. He's done such an amazing job and really had such a range there between the humble kind of leader to the cocky prisoner to the not so cocky still prisoner who wants to die. He and like that madness too, like all of that really was all over the place, and I just thought he just added so much to that character that really didn't have that much in the book.
See, I really like your pick here, and if you didn't take Logain, I was taking him with my next pick.
I figured he was going to be your next one, so that's why I was like, I got to snag him.
I was debating Logain and Moraine there, and I was like, okay, let me just lean Moraine since, she is the series lead right now. All right. So my next pick is going to be Steppen. And so I feel like the actor who played Steppen here, he's a character that is basically new to the show here. He's not really an important part at all in the traditional Wheel of Time book continuity. However, I felt like the actor that they got to play Steppen here was just fantastic. He, again, stole the show every single time he was on screen here. Although I'm not the happiest about a lot of the changes that were made, I really like this actor, and I really just wish he was playing a character that was going to be around a lot longer because of how much I enjoyed him.
I agree. Steppen was definitely one of my picks I had kind of queued towards the end as well, and really liked his portrayal. Again, like you said, to a character that wasn't even in the books.
Right.
I'm sure some people right now are like, well, what about Lan? What about,
what about
Rand?
The main
what about
characters?
Yeah, I know, and we're just sitting here picking all the ones around them. Again, I think everyone, like we've said before, the casting was an excellent job, and I had a really hard time. But I think it's the characters that I'm like I always liked when they came on. I always wanted to see more of them. So that's kind of where I went with this, and I'm sure my last pick is gonna hit some nerves as well. But right now I'm on my fourth pick. I could really go 10 rounds here.
Oh, I know. Same.
My fourth pick here is, or my third pick, sorry, is going to be Eamon Valda.
Nice.
So
I like it.
Yeah, that was played by Abdul Salas. And he was a character in the books that, again, we didn't get a whole lot of him. I mean, we got a bit of him, but like it was sprinkled here and there, and you never really felt like he was like a real villain. He was just sort of like a side side there trying to get in the way, but not really doing much of anything. Whereas in the show, he has been set up and he is portrayed as like this villain. Like you're scared, you're a little scared of him, and the fact that he is so just willing to do some really messed up stuff. Like, I think the actor has done such a really great job with his character, and I'm excited to see more of him. And that also says that I don't think he's dead, obviously.
Right, I don't think he's dead either. So something that I don't think you and I ever actually talked about on the podcast here is that in the series here, Eamon Valda is portrayed as being a questioner, a hand of the light. In the books, however, he's not. He's not a questioner. He's not a member of the Hand of the Light. He's just a typical, like, captain for the Children of the Light. And I found that out because right now I'm rereading Lord of Chaos, which is one of the books in the Wheel of Time series here. And I just got to a chapter where Valda was introduced, and he talks about having contempt for the Hand of the Light and not liking the questioners. And I was like, wait, what? Did I remember this wrong? And so, yeah, I just thought it was interesting that we never really brought that up. And it's because, I think, of how minor of a character Valda is in the books to how much he's going to seem to be important here on screen.
Yeah, they definitely do seem to be combining character roles for some people, which makes sense, again.
Right.
Anywho, Dylan, your fourth pick?
All right, so here I feel like is going to be our second of the Emond's Field 5 characters, and I am going to be taking Barney Harris's Matt Cawthon. And so this might be a little bit of a controversial pick, and I mean, really, I feel like a lot of my picks have been more fringe characters and might be more controversial. But
well, no, you got Moiraine and
I
Matt
did.
there.
I got Moiraine, but I got Matt here, and the reason why I picked Barney Harris's Matt Cawthon is because of how much I actually really liked his portrayal of what he was given throughout the series here. He was, right off the bat, portrayed as somebody who is a bit of a scoundrel, a bit of a thief, a bit of like a darker person. And while I might not like that so much for Matt, who is my favorite character from the novels, I really did still like how the actor warped that and used that to be who he was asked to be. Like, I really like early on when Matt is also, like, given the opportunity to show some redeemable qualities of sticking up for his sisters and everything against his drunk mother and his lecherous father. And so I just feel like of the other Emond's Field characters, other than Nynaeve, I liked Matt the most. Again, from those first couple episodes, even though later on I felt like he was a little bit too dark and got away from the essence of the character of Matt Cawthon from the novels, I still felt like what he did was what he was asked to do.
Yeah, I'd agree. I definitely think Matt's portrayal in the show was really well done. Again, like we talked about, I feel like the only character that kind of got the short end of the stick in terms of that would be Perrin. But that actually leads me to my next character, who happens to be one of my favorite characters in the books throughout the series. And that would be Rand, who happens to also be the main character, obviously. But
right, yeah.
Rand al'Thor. I like the portrayal in the show. And I think really for me, what kind of really pushed him up onto my list there was kind of the last few episodes and the flashback and like holding in that kind of secret throughout and sort of sprinkling that in throughout the series and having him be kind of, torn between who he thinks he could be and trying to still be himself and help his friends and maintain this relationship with Egwene. And then by the end, just finally realizing, like, okay, I gotta let Egwene kind of have her dream. And I like the direction of that character that they took with him, even though I don't necessarily agree with all the choices that they've made. I do like that growth for him. And I'm excited to see where they take him in the future. And hopefully they kind of step away from him being this sulky boy the entire time that he was in the books. But yeah, so Rand al'Thor for me.
Rand al'Thor for your fourth character.
Yes, had to go for it. All right, Dylan, what about your final choice here?
All right, this is top 5, and I'm debating if I want to do something crazy or not. All right.
I'm stuck between 2, so it's...
I feel like both of them are probably going to be there, because I think who I want to take, oh man, is actually Dana the Dark Friend.
Oh my gosh, you took mine.
Yes.
You sniped me.
So Dana the Dark Friend, again, not necessarily a character from the books, but I really loved how she was done on screen, and I really liked the actress that played her and how she made you really like her right off the bat with just how kind of like in your face she was and how relatable she was of wanting to get out of that small town that she was stuck in. And then all of a sudden she changed right into like the Dark Friend persona, trying to catch us all, or she did catch us all off guard, trying to kill Rand or capture Rand. And I just felt like she was done very well, and I really enjoyed her performance. And really, if she wasn't such a minor character in the show, she probably would have been rated higher for me, to be honest. But number 5 for me, Dana the Dark Friend. All right, Mike, what do you got?
Took that from me. You took that from me. So I was stuck between her and someone else, and obviously now I got to go with someone else. But she was the one that I was just like kept coming back to because it legitimately was one of my favorite portrayals.
Yeah.
In the first season, and it was because she only appeared in one episode and just for such a short amount of time that kind of drove her down the list. But she was portrayed by Azuka Hoyle. And yeah, it's going to be kind of sad that we don't get any more of her, but hopefully they get some more characters kind of like her that come in and are really great. I do want to just throw out a couple people who aren't on my list that I wanted to do afterwards. But right now, I'll just go with my character, who is Johan Myers, and he portrayed Padan Fain.
Nice, yes.
Now, we didn't get a whole lot of Fain, but the way he was implemented, and even at the end, his manners and how he acted was just so well done. Just like this kind of like, not creepy guy, but like he definitely had this evil aura to him, and he was sitting there trying to manipulate and trick people, and he was just so well done. The acting in the first episode was great. Him slinking around the other episodes, and then at the end, when he came back and he was just kind of sitting there and like talking to Perrin, like while Perrin's slack-jawed, it was just so well done. And I'm so excited to continue to have his dynamic with our main characters throughout season 2, and hopefully we see more of him in season 2.
I'm betting we will, and I'm really glad you picked him because he was the person I was debating between him or Dana. And so I decided to go with Dana, and I'm glad that Padan Fain got the recognition that I feel like his actor deserves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I would just want to do 2 shout-outs to a couple characters who... 3 shout-outs, actually. Alana's portrayal in the show. So Priyanka Bose was fantastic. Loved Alana. Her 2 warders as well. Ivan, who was played by Emmanuel Amani, and Maxim, who was played by Taylor Napier. Like, you guys definitely were all there towards the end, and I was just like really fighting to get you on there, but I just couldn't just couldn't do it. So, any shout outs for you, Dylan, on any characters? Or
yeah, so I think if I wanted to give any other shout outs, I think that, like I said, you said, Alana was good. I was even thinking maybe Leandrin, the actress who played Leandrin, did a really good job.
Shamiel.
Yeah, Shamiel is another good one. Yeah.
Loyal's actor too. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, Hammond
didn't get a lot of him.
Was all right. Yeah. Didn't get too much. I mean, but we picked characters like Tom. My first pick was in 2 episodes. Dana was in 1 episode. So like we picked characters, and Stepan was in like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that crazy to put in somebody who's in only a few episodes. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we covered, in my opinion, the best of the best of here. Like, I don't think I would replace any of the actors or actresses you chose with someone who didn't get chosen.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'm gonna keep my list how it is.
Oh, so wait, I just thought of one more honorable mention.
Okay.
Days Conger. She might have been in it for like 30 seconds, but I really thoroughly enjoyed it. So
yeah, I'd agree. Days. Yeah, it was kind of unfortunate that we didn't get a longer cut of that first episode, and I know they've talked about how they wanted that to be a longer episode. Speaking of which, now that we've finished our awesome lists, I'll kind of go over them.
Yeah.
So Dylan, your team would be in round 1, Tom. Round 2, Moraine. Round 3, Stepan. 4, Matt. And 5, I think your strongest, is Dana. My team, round 1 was Nynaeve. Round 2, Logain. Round 3, Em and Valda. Round 4, Rand. And round 5, Pat and Fane.
So I'm just going to come out and say right now, I think that you have the better list. So, but I will say I do really like your list here. I feel like I kind of let some book influence get in my way there at the beginning by picking Tom, but it's all good.
He was a really done here. He was a well done portrayal. So
yes, I still like.
I'd be interested to see if we get any feedback or if people comment their own lists. That'd be kind of fun to see on their top 5 characters as portrayed in the show.
Right, and I think something to keep in mind though as well is that this was kind of like a you pick, I can't choose them type of situation there.
Yes.
Otherwise, my list might have been a little bit different. But either way, I think that this was still a fun little exercise and just like some good old-fashioned Wheel of Time enjoyment, which is always a good thing.
Absolutely. And I think, speaking, we were talking before the episode a little bit about the Lord of the Rings of Power announcement teaser trailer, and we talked a little bit about the show and some of the things we learned about that. I had heard or I had read recently that the first episode, you had maybe shared with me that they're going to be 3 hours long.
Well, so not 3 hours each. That the first 2 episodes, I think it is, will be a combined 3 hours. So like an hour and a half each.
Yeah. And I was reading some comments and stuff on Facebook and some other places, and it sounds like, I guess that's what Rafi had really wanted to do as well with the Wheel of Time, was give the first couple episodes a longer length, and Amazon had come back and kind of, no. And hopefully maybe in season 2 we'll be able to get those longer lengths, or some longer episodes, or just more episodes in general, to help flesh out the world a little bit more. And it would be really cool if they would release maybe like a director's cut of those episodes as well.
I'd love that.
They've seen how successful the series is, but
yeah. So I just want to also end here really quick by saying that Mike and I have both been extremely hard on Rafi and everything like that, and I think mostly justifiably deserved. But to know that he was denied being able to bring forward what he actually wanted to do, because it does kind of add a little slight sliver of hope there, to me at least, because I feel like although the episodes where Rafi was like in complete control of it, doing the writing as well as being the showrunner there, were arguably two of the weaker episodes. It still would have been good to just get more time to flush that out. And I feel like that was a misstep by Amazon, given that this is the first time that Wheel of Time was being brought forward in live action in a full series and not just some random midnight pilot dropped in the middle of the night with 2 viewers.
Yeah.
But I do feel like maybe Amazon misstepped.
We should probably watch that at some point and give our honest reaction to that.
We really should. So I think we should watch that at some point and do a podcast about that. But with that, I think we're actually going to come to a close on this episode. Keep it nice and short here in the off season and nice and light and fun. But hopefully you guys had a good time. I really want to see what your lists look like. If you could come up with your top 5 characters of the show or your top 5 portrayals, however you want to think about that. And then again, just you can get that to us at wheeloftimerewind@gmail.com or send it to us on Instagram or Twitter at WOTRewind. So with that, we will see you guys at the next turning of the wheel. Goodbye.
Bye.